Hello guys and welcome to How to Make an Essay 101. Today we're gonna talk about essay structure, and if you wanna know the main categories of an essay and the principal components, stay tuned and let's begin. So let's begin. We're gonna start with the structure of an essay. As we observe on the figure from the right side, we have three categories, which are introduction, body, and conclusion. On the introduction side, we see a triangle pointed down, which basically means that we have to go from a general perspective to a more specific perspective, which ended up on our thesis. Then we have our body paragraph, which is the main content of our entire essay, and then we have the conclusion, which is going from a specific perspective to a more broader and general perspective. So now, let's look to the introduction. As we observe, the first sentence of the introduction has to be the hook sentence. This sentence is used as an attention grabber to get the attention of the reader into the specific topic that we're gonna talk about on our essay. This is really important because it sets the tone and the interest of a reader through the topic that further we explain. Furthermore, now we have to introduce our general topic, because on every essay we're always going to have a general topic. For example, if we're talking about how the educational system is it is oppressing students on their critical thinking skills, the general topic of that, a specific and very narrow approach, it will be education. So we have to give some sort of thing on what is our general topic, and then we start describing it on the introduction. Then after that, we move to introduce our main sources. On every essay, it's going to be one or two sources that we're going to use the most on our essay. So in the introduction, we have to first introduce the author, the title of the essay, article, book, anything that we're using, and then we have to give a brief summary about it. This is really important because through the essay we might use quote, we may paraphrase, so our readers are gonna know where are we getting this information already. Then finally we have to create our thesis. This is basically the most important sentence of our entire essay, because first it answers to a prompt and it is an answer for a question. Also, it outlines of our entire essay, because depending on how we structure the words, that's how it's gonna be through the flow through our entire essay in our body paragraphs. So now we're gonna move to the body paragraphs. The body paragraphs is the section that contains the main ideas that build the argument that you previously state on your thesis statement. Each body paragraph begins with a topic sentence. A topic sentence is just basically the main idea that you're gonna use on that specific body paragraph that you're making. Then from there, you have to use some sort of evidence to back up the idea that you claim, right? But before putting the evidence, the quote, the statistical fact that you're gonna use, you have to provide some sort of context. This context can be easily, if you're using a quote, you just have to explain what's happening before the quote. If you're using an article, maybe you have to tell a little bit about the article, where the article is coming from and what it's important and relevant. So you have to provide some sort of context no matter what evidence that you're using. After that, you have to use a signal phrase. This is basically just some generic words that are indicating that the quote, the evidence is coming next. For example, you can use something like the author is staying, she states, she argues. Those sort of pre-generic words you can use, and as you start getting more experience, you can build up these signal phrases in an even better way. Once we have that, we move to our main thing, which is the quote. The quote, it has to provide some sort of backup to the main idea that you previously state on your topic sentences. And then after that, you have to put the source. The source is just basically the page number of your quote. And then if you never mention the author under context, you're gonna put the last name of the author as well in parentheses. And if you're using APA style, you have to provide the year of the article. Once we finish that, we move to the next part and the most important part of your essay, or your body paragraph, which is the analysis. Here in the analysis, you have to explain why this quote, a statistical fact, evidence, whatever you want to call it, back up your main idea. You have to analyze the evidence that you use and then explain why this evidence is giving more credibility to the main idea of your paragraph. This is the most important part, because here is when you show that you have knowledge of the topic that you're writing about, that you understand what you're writing, and here's when you write with your own words. However, you always have to keep in mind that on academic essays, you always have to write in third person unless your professor allows you to do first or second. Also, keep in mind that this part, the analysis part, is the one that the professor grade toughly, because right here, as I previously say, is where you show the knowledge and the knowledge on the topic and how you use your critical thinking to link the evidence and the topic sentence. So now, we move to the conclusion. I understand that this is the part that most of the students have some sort of fear or they find difficult to write the conclusion. I always encounter students who come and tell me that they don't know how to start their conclusion, or I'm not sure if they are approaching the conclusion in the right way. And I always tell them the same thing. Conclusion is the easiest part of your work or your essay, because you already did most of the work on the other sections. You already construct a thesis on your introduction. You actually manage all the ideas on your body paragraphs. On your conclusion, it's basically you have to restate your thesis. This means that you just have to write your essay, your thesis on a different way. You don't specifically have to copy and paste it, but just change some words, and in that way you're restating the thesis. Then you're gonna summarize your key points in the sense that you're gonna summarize the main ideas. What are the main ideas of your entire essay? And you're just gonna put it on a brief, summarized way. And then your final thoughts. This can be super general. Final thoughts on the general topic. And that's why on the conclusion at the beginning, remember that we have a triangle pointing pointing up. Then we start from a specific topic to a more general topic. So now you know more about essay structure and the different components. However, if you'd like to see more videos like this, stay tuned.